It's a new astrological season, and we're doing a SWOT analysis of our trusty sign, the Virgo. Hopefully, we'll give you some tips on how to deal with a Virgo when they're Virgoing to the max today on Dear Black Gay Men podcast. What up, though? Welcome to Dear Black Gay Men podcast. I am Jay the Gentleman. That's at JAI the Gentleman on Instagram. And this is our weekly podcast. It's a short, bullshit-free step out of our comfort zone to talk about all the emotional ups and downs along the journey to happiness. Hopefully, this is our weekly reminder of how dope it is to be black gay men who love black gay men. This is the podcast. I am Jay the Gentleman. Now let's get into the episode. So I am Virgo, but I am a proud overthinker. When I see all these posts on Facebook, like what's the one sign that you wouldn't date again? For me, it's a Gemini, but it's not Gemini season. It's definitely Virgo season, which I'm very excited about because my birthday's coming up. But the one trait that I know that Virgos possess and that I hear about the most from people who have dealt with a Virgo is overthinking. We tend to like rabbit hole, perfectionists. I don't know Virgos to be dishonest, but I do know that we will think about something until we can't think about it anymore. And then we will think about why we can't think about it anymore. Like we tend to obsess. It can be obsessive. I think it can be an obsessive behavior when it comes to how we think about things that happen around us. Now, most people don't get to see the overthinking because when we think about it and we come to whatever conclusion it is about the story we've painted in our head, then generally speaking, what we'll give you is like a okay, or all right, okay, girl. Like we don't express that part of us to people who can't handle it. But the funny thing for me is that overthinking, the reason why I can proudly be an overthinker is because that is what has helped me appreciate bottoms. Like there is vulnerability in taking some dick. Mind you, is this crazy preparation process. You got to go and dish your life away in the bathroom, in the boudoir, wherever you are, and then let's say you're the receptive partner is hosting, like they are inviting this man that I might know, I might not know, but you invite this man into my home, into my bedroom, into my bed, and into my body. That is some crazy vulnerability just to take some dick. Like I think that it is uncanny, the position, the actual positions, and then the mental emotional position that we culture put bottoms in. But the weird thing is I never would have discovered that. I never would be able to appreciate that if I wasn't an overthinker. Like my Virgo-ness, my Virgo-ing is my way of appreciating that. And the whole process of appreciating that is how I learned that I can't give everybody husband dick. Husband dick, I believe, is like the biggest act of consideration. It is chivalry at its max. Not to be confused with like big dick or toxic dick, but husband dick is just a different level on its own. It's not gonna be the kind of dick you gonna take a picture of and send to your girls in the group chat, but it's appropriate. I think for me it's appropriate. I'll call it considerate dick. Yeah, it's like considerate dick. And what I've learned along the process, it's chivalrous dick. It's considerate dick. But the gotcha is when you're dealing with a population of people who are so accustomed to being disrespected, consideration is sexy. Fucking me, thinking about me, considering me, asking yourself, how does this make the other person feel? When you're talking to people who are so easily shunned, cast out, cast aside, it's easy for consideration to become addicting. And when it's in a sexual situation, I find that my overthinking, which led to me, I believe, appreciating bottoms so much to where I give them considerate dick, it's just not energy that that's necessary in every situation. But I never would have got that if I wasn't a overthinker. Now, that's not to say that every Virgo is considerate or gives considerate dick. And it's not to say that every person who gives husband dick or considerate dick is a Virgo. But for me, my overthinking, my Virgo-ishness expresses in these very sexual situations. But oftentimes, for me, as a Virgo, the person on the other side of this thing, they forget all of that shit. Like, many times it's been that all people can think about when they think about Virgos is being overthinkers or critical about everything or perfectionists. But all the while I was being a perfectionist, you wasn't complaining about how I'm putting it down in the bedroom. All the while that I was, doing all these other things, you weren't complaining about the good aspects of my virgoing. But on the back end, after we break up, all you can remember is that nigga was a perfectionist. And I think that is kind of the bigger lesson. We end up putting people in these boxes when relationships, when situations, when entanglements don't go our way. When we forget all the good shit. Like, people will be like, no fats, no femmes, but you wasn't complaining about his feminine energy when he was bringing you a plate with the biggest piece of chicken at the cookout. Or people talk about, no fats, but you wasn't complaining when he was keeping your ass warm in December because y'all was cuddling all night. People we bottom shame, but somebody got to take the dick. Like, we put each other into these boxes that limit us and limit how we express and limit what you receive, not knowing, or at least not acknowledging, that 10 minutes ago you was excited about this same shit. You was excited about me overthinking because it meant good dick, husband dick, and a boyfriend experience. But then shit don't go right, and all of a sudden I'm overthinker, I'm a perfectionist, and I'm overly critical about shit. And I think that as these astrological seasons go, we have to remember that people ain't just one flavor. It's levels to this shit. And as a culture, I think we put a lot of us into these singular boxes, forgetting all the dope shit that came out of that exact same trait. So now that we are celebrating this new astrological season, dear Black gay men, I may be an overthinking ass Virgo. And that may even be a little toxic. But you're going to love it here. That was our show. I am Jay the Gentleman. For our listeners, if this episode made you feel a little more dope, I want to thank you in advance for a 5-star rating on wherever you get your podcasts. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to Dear Black Gay Men and hit the notification button so you never miss an episode. Follow at Dear Black Gay Men on socials. I am Jay the Gentleman. That was our show, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.